Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome. If this is your first time here, welcome back. If you are a returning supporter, I want to take a moment to say thank you to all of the members who have joined the channel. Thank you to a special thank you to Journey with Kiki, Kimberly Davis, Asheray Artist Management, and Poetic Beauty 82. Thank you for joining the channel. I hope that you are enjoying the benefits and perks that comes with being a member of the channel. Welcome to Nurturing Conversations podcast. I am your host, Shell, also known as Shell. Um, Tonight's topic is make peace with your past. I figure we are 15 days into 2023. Um, and now is a great time to talk about newness, being whole, letting go of what was to make room for what will be. Um, Forgiving ourselves for for the mistakes that we made. We're going to talk about all of those things on this evening. I'm going to go ahead and give you my disclaimers. I do not tolerate disrespect that is in any way, shape, form, or fashion that is towards me, towards anyone that appears on the screen, towards anyone that appears in the chat. It is, again, 15 days into 2023. If you have not determined that you are going to live in a positive space or surround yourself with positive things, then I would like to say that this isn't a place for you, but maybe you need to stick around. Maybe you need to stick around. Hopefully, something I say will inspire you to change. I am not a mental health professional. I'm just one woman willing to share my personal experiences to let you know two things. One, you can overcome anything that life throws at you. And two, you are not alone. I know a lot of times in our lives, we feel like we are the only person going through heartbreak, divorce, being cheated on, loss of a job. We feel like we are the only person doing that, but or experiencing that, but we are not. There are billions, millions of people that share your same experiences. I'm just choosing to talk about them to let you know. Like, hey, maybe you are struggling with being broken up with. It gets better. I'm not going to say it gets better right away, but it does get better. Um, Let's see what else. Again, I'm not a mental health professional. There oftentimes have been mental health professionals in the room, so feel free to converse with other people who are in the room. There will be curse words. I'm going to say that there will be curse words. There will possibly be tears. Um, we are here to have a nurturing conversations. My opinions are my opinions, and your opinions are your opinions. Hopefully, we can find a common ground to better understand each other's opinions. Having said that, welcome to Nurturing Conversations podcast. This started as Sunday night dinner and convo. I had a dream, like Mike, like Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King. I had a dream that I wanted to do a podcast and I wanted to talk about every fucking thing that people don't talk about. You know, those things that people want to talk about, but they are afraid how people will look at them if they talk about it. Hi, my name is Ashel. I don't give a fuck. I want to talk about it. And so I thought, what better way to do that is to have a podcast. And then, so I tested it with Sunday Night Dinner and Convo and it kind of went over pretty well. So I was like, well, I think it's time for me to take that extra step and solidify it as a podcast. So it's the Nurturing Conversation podcast. Tonight's conversation is make peace with your past. We are 15 days into 2023. You probably have a New Year's resolution, a vision board, a vision book. You probably have hope, goals, dreams, and aspirations of things you plan to accomplish in 2023. Earlier today, when I was thinking about this topic, I was actually cleaning up, right? And they're like, if there was one or 10 albums, I don't know how many albums they said that you could listen to um, for the rest of your life, what would you listen to? And I began to think about the music that I would listen to. And as I began to think about the music that I would listen to, I began to think about where I was in my life during those albums, right? Like, what was I experiencing that drew me to the music? Because I feel like our experiences um, helps us navigate the journey through life. Like, you ever had a breakup or so I do karaoke's on Saturday night here on YouTube. And so there's this one song called Heartbreak Anniversary by Giveon, right? I hated the song. Hated it. Hated it. I hated it only because I'm like, who in their right mind celebrate a heartbreak? Who celebrates it? Like, why do you do that? And then I'm currently on a journey of healing and self discovery. I know that healing is like a lifelong journey because there's things that's gonna come up that just I still need to process. And so I was like, why would you make a song like that? And I was saying that because I was in the middle of a really bad breakup. And then as I began to come on the tail end of the breakup, I began to understand the emphasis of the song. It's a day where you think about how happy you were. You think about the good times. You think about the times where it was like we did say we were going to, be together forever. We were going to, like, we had all these plans, and then you see how much you have grown from that moment until. And so I started to think about it. I said, I have really grown. I will go on record, like this is a record, but I will go on record and say having um having a major breakup really shook my life up in a good way. I know when we think about breakups, it's always like there's a negative connotation to it where it's like, oh, fuck them. I never want to. But that's not my story, right? Because I knew my one day. So I told you I had a dream. So I knew one day that I would be in a space where I would have the confidence to speak my feelings. I will have the confidence to like not hide or not suppress my emotions, but speak them, like find words to put to my emotions, right? So I experienced a really bad breakup. It played out all over social media, and I thought to myself, right? I said, my entire life prepared me for this moment. My entire life, everything I went through in my entire life prepared me for the moment where I would be um, criticized or whatever you want to put there all over social media. My entire life prepared me for that. So when it happened, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Or I feel, no, I wasn't any of those things. I really felt sad for the individuals that were doing it because I was like, you have no idea how this is going to turn out. And then like, I thought to myself, like, for so long in my life, like I have a loving, genuine heart. And I know people say that all the time, but I'm going to say this. I really do have a loving, genuine heart. And I really want people to win. I don't care in what facet of life it is. I really want you to win, right? So I began to think to myself, and I was like, I used to pray. I used to pray. I used to cry out. I used to ask God to please give me that heart. You know, the heart that people have where they could do really fucked up shit to you and not care and go home and go to sleep and eat and it doesn't bother them. Like if someone asks me a question and I just be in a moment and I don't want to answer that question that bothers me. Like I have a conscience, so it bothers me, but I really wanted to have that thing that people have. And I know that I really didn't want it, but one moment, child. Thank you. I forgot to unmute it after the Tyler difficulties. So I sat down and talked to my parents. All y'all missed everything I said. So basically, what I was saying was, I experienced a really bad breakup. I went back. I sat down with myself. I took some time. I didn't hop into a new relationship. I didn't date. I sat down and took some time with myself, and I wanted to understand, why did I accept the things that I accepted? Why did um why did I make place for things that I said I would never make place for? Like, why did I do that? Um no, it's because I unmuted it now. So thank you for telling me you couldn't hear me, because I didn't think to look at the mute button. Um, so I sat down with my parents, and in sitting down with my parents, I began to understand or look at my parents in a different light. People will always say to me, "Oh, you're the only girl I know. You spoil. I know they give you everything." And in my mind, I felt like I should have had everything because I was the only girl. And so after I talked to my parents, I began to understand where they were at the time in which I was conceived. I began to understand their relationship and how that affected how they were going to raise me. I began to understand all of that, and then I began to say it was never about me. I know you probably like, they're your parents and shit, but the reality of it was it was never about me. I made it about me because I'm like, y'all my parents, y'all should love me, y'all should make sure I have this, y'all should. Entitlement. I know I can, I know what you're thinking. Entitlement. So I sat down and talked to my mom, and I understood where she was, and I understood how things happened, and I was just like, holy shit. Here I was expecting you to do all of this and shower me with all of this love and affection, but you didn't even have the understanding of what that meant. You know, you always hear parents say, well, parenting don't come with a rule book. Now, here's where I say this, right? If you have one child, that is a perfect opportunity for you to sit down and begin to write a manual, because maybe you have cousins, auntie, uncles, nieces, and nephews, or maybe you have children that's old enough that's about to have kids. Maybe you could maybe you could write a manual for them to say, hey, when they turn 2 years old, they're going to have the terrible twos, and they're going to be shooting stuff all around. They're going to be plugging stuff, unplugging stuff, pouring water all over the floor. They're just going to be doing all of these things. Like, you can give them a manual to prepare them on what's to come or what they can expect. Yes, everybody's different, but at the same time, we're all learning. Here's how you potty train a child. Here's how you potty train a boy. Here's how you potty train a girl. What to do when your child doesn't identify as a gender that you associated them with. It's so many different things. One moment, child. I'm sorry. Give me one more moment. I'm back. I'm trying something new in 2023. I'm setting boundaries, and I'm not being verbal. I'm not being verbal when my boundaries are crossed, because I feel like I don't need to give any more energy because I set the boundaries, right? Anyways, so I talked to my mom, understood where she was. The thing that changed everything for me was, hi Trish. The thing that changed everything for me was when I talked to my father. When I talked to my father, I understood that I had a sister. Here I was thinking I was the only girl. Surprise, surprise. I had a sister. And my father said to me, he said, I lost your sister passed away 2 years before you were born, and no one spoke to me about grief, or no one told me how to handle grief, or you know, it was a big thing. It was a big thing. I didn't know about it because of course I was a child. I didn't know about it, but it was a big thing because she was 2 years older than me, and I guess she passed away. Not I guess she passed away due to carbon monoxide poisoning. And so my father was like, nobody. I'm a guy. Nobody talked to me about grief, and he was just going through the process of it. And he was like, I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. He said, so the only thing I knew to do was the street. So he did what he knew to do. And so then I thought like my father was there every year. I got a card from my father. I didn't know if it was from my mother or if it was from my father. I didn't know who it was from. Um, and that changed the dynamic of my relationship with my parents. So I'm on this journey of healing and self discovery. Hi, lovely. I'm on this journey of healing and self discovery, and now I have gone back to the original place where I learned love. That was through my parents. So for me, it's because, I went to a predominantly white schools. My mother, when I was younger, I didn't understand this. When I was younger, my mother put me in predominantly white schools, and I was so upset because I wanted to go to those neighborhood schools. I wanted to hang out with the people. We in the neighborhood. I want to go to school with them. I was going to church back then, so I wanted to go to the school with the people I seen every day. And my mother was like, "No, because there is something that you have to do." And I was like, "What do I have to do? I'm young. I'm trying to hang out and kick it." So my mother sent me to chapter 220 schools, and I really hated it. I can say that now. I really hated it. Um, as I began to go to these different schools, it was definitely a culture shock because, I live in the hood. It's hood. It's like cans. It's like crate basketball. It's the hood. And so I went there and it's like, you got to talk proper or not. You got to talk, not you got to talk proper, but it was like you talk proper. I've always talked, uh, I've always talked, not ghetto. That sounds so weird to say. I always talked with, eloquence. Ooh, I always talk with eloquence. So people would, make fun of me and it's like, oh, you talking white, especially when they found out I went to a white school. It's like, oh, you talking white or you think you better. I've literally heard in every decade of my life somebody say, you think you better. And the entire time I'm sitting here thinking like, wait a minute, I don't think I'm better. I never even said any of that. Um, I'm sorry, y'all. Give me one more minute. Okay, I'm back. That's how I handle situations now. And since I've been on the journey of healing and self discovery, that's what I do. I be in such a good space. I can't allow that to interrupt where I am. You know, I can't allow that. So back to what I was saying. So my relationship with my parents helped me, helped me to regain my footing, build a new foundation. You know, when you're younger, you have all these different um, ideologies and morals and values that your family teaches you. And when you get older, some of those things don't hold on to because you grow, you learn, you have experiences. And so after I had the conversation with my parents, I began to say, okay, I felt rejected, right? So in my mind, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do whatever it takes so I don't have to feel that. I never want to feel rejected again. I never want people to feel like they can make me feel bad because they don't want to be around me. So what happened? I became a people pleaser. Oh, y'all want to go? We would go out to eat and I would pick up the tab. We would go to Vegas. I was doing all kinds of stuff. When I tell y'all I was wilding out, wilding out. I kind of feel like this is why I don't have that kind of I don't have that thing when it comes to money. You know, like some people be like, I'm gonna do anything to get money. I don't have that thing when it comes to money because I feel like I've had access to so much growing up where it doesn't the fancy cars, the clothes, the bags, the shoes, that stuff doesn't excite me now. It did back in the days, but even that, right? I was in therapy and I began to think, right? I would literally go to the mall and buy shit. Shit I knew I never was going to wear, but they called it retail therapy and I felt better when I was just buying stuff. And then, you know, when you get a little older and you're like, what the fuck do I have 5 pairs of the same shoes? Or why is there bags? You can ask anybody that knows me. There's only like 2 times in my entire life. I'm 42 years old. 2 times I've ever worn a purse, and I wore this purse because I loved it. Was I don't even know what it was about this purse, but I loved it, and it wasn't fancy. It was just a plain black purse. That was it. And then I wore, of course, the Coach wristlets. I had like 2 of those, but other than that, I wasn't wearing purses, but I had Dooney and Burks. I had Coaches. I had all kinds of shit in my closet. I was joking with my brothers. I was like, man, you know, when I was growing up, my mother would buy like my mother. Let's talk about my mother for a moment. My mother um, did things for us that when we were younger, we didn't really understand what the fuck was going on. We was just excited to like people would come over and be like, "Oh, y'all rich because y'all got all the video games and day beds and all these different things." And we was just looking like, "Wait, y'all don't have that kind of stuff? Like y'all don't eat 3 meals a day? Like y'all don't?" We were taking those things for granted back in the days. I remember people used to come to our house and our mother like we would all go to the store and my mother would be buying them stuff too and we just looking like, but they not our brothers and sisters. And then eventually they became our brothers and sisters. But then I began to understand the heart that my mother has, right? To this very day, my mother has the heart, I want to say, of Jesus, the heart of God, the heart of Mary, Joseph, the heart of Mother Teresa. My mother has that heart. Like, I've literally seen people do some really fucked up shit to my mother, but they were about to get evicted or their kids needed something and she would take it to them. And I would just look, that's that I wish a motherfucker would moment. I'm never gonna do no shit like that. Cause you know, we have that. We say that. We say that. I've said that multiple times. And then I understood what it meant. I understood that. When my father said, I didn't know how to handle it, and you came right after she was born, I understood that. Had he told me that when I was a teenager and I was just like, fuck him, fuck the world, I probably would have been really upset with him. But the universe, God, Buddha, Allah, whichever deity you want to put there, um, allowed us to connect at a time where my heart was open for me to receive it. My mother put me in all of these different programs. I was just talking to someone. I was like, I remember I used to go to Saturday school. That's how I learned how to code. Like, I've been knowing how to do shit. My mother buy us Scrabble games. Like, she always got us these games where we were younger. Like, we were reading encyclopedias. Y'all know encyclopedias. We were reading all kinds of books. We would go to the bookstore. In my mind, as an adult now, I just think like my mother set us up for success. Like, she real life set us up for success. But when you're younger, you're just like, why I have to do this? Or what's this gonna benefit me? But as an adult, I'm so grateful for those things. I was in my kitchen today and I was just like, mm-hmm. And I told y'all earlier where the really bad breakup I went through, and I'm calling it that because I'm able to say that now. I'm able to say that it was a really bad breakup. Before I had this mask on, it's like, oh, I'm gonna love you forever. I will always love her forever, just because of the things we went through in life. But I had to be honest with myself. I had to make peace with my past. That was heartbreaking for me. I had to take some time away. And I said to myself in the kitchen, I'm cleaning today, I was like, holy shit. You ever have that moment where you be like, you be in a relationship and be like, ain't nobody gonna cheat on me because I cook, I clean, I do all of this. You go down the whole fucking list of the things that you bring to the table and you was like, nobody ain't gonna cheat on me. I'm gonna tell you this. I said this before. It is not about you. It's not about you. I know it felt like to me. I can't speak for you, but I will say it's not about you. It felt like to me that this situation was about me, but it wasn't about me. Because as I looked at it, it was like I did everything I was supposed to do. That's what I kept saying. I did everything I was supposed to do. I don't understand why it didn't work. And then I said, you know what? It's not about me. That didn't happen because of something that I did. I did everything that I was supposed to do: love, honor, cherish, support, believe, go above and beyond. I did everything that I was supposed to do, literally. More than even I was supposed to do, I was doing. And then I said to myself, but why? Why did you do that? Why did you give up the very thing that you would tell everybody that that's what you want to do for the rest of your life? Why would you give that up? What happened to you? And I began to say to myself, I lost myself. I lost myself in love. I lost myself in the idea of a relationship. I lost myself. I got so lost in making sure that the other person that I was with was okay that I lost myself. In losing myself, I was able to understand that I didn't necessarily lose myself. I just lost my way. I just lost my way. I allowed so many different things. I went on the journey of healing and self discovery, and I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to let go of everything that I've been carrying around for 40. I was 40 years when I was 40 years old when I started the journey of healing and self discovery. I'm going to let it go. Whatever emotion, whatever feeling comes up, whatever situation comes up. Whew, sorry, I told y'all there's going to be tears. It's going to be emotional. Whatever situation comes up, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to accept it, acknowledge it, and I will determine what I do after that. Once I said that, once I uttered those words, it seemed like the floodgates of my mind, that little room in the back of your head that you got like a steel door, is the thing, the bank door where you got that wheel and you got concrete, you got all this. No, nobody's going to get to my heart. Nobody's going to get to my heart. Nobody going to ever hurt me again. I don't trust people. All of those. Yes, it's like that door just melted away and it was like, okay, here's number one. And I was just sitting there like, whoa, I didn't anticipate. Because I think in my mind, as I was saying, in my mind, I feel like I had the idea of how I wanted to heal. I had the idea of how I wanted to heal. I just wanted to go. I just want the whoever is up there, he, she, them, they. I want them to touch me and be like, "Whew, everything is gone. You are brand new." That's what I wanted them to do. But then I should have thought that nothing in my life has been easy, right? I've never been able to take the easy way out. So I should have known that it was going to be a difficult task, and not difficult as in unbearable, but difficult as in I really have to acknowledge where I was, right? So I'm sitting here like, yeah, I'm gonna go on a journey of healing and self discovery. I'm telling y'all, like, yeah, I'm gonna go on a journey of healing and self discovery. And I'm walking on this journey and I'm seeing my childhood and I'm seeing, like, oh, yeah, I made it past that. Yeah, I'm good. And then it's like, stop. And then this situation come up and I was like, I thought I had got past that. I mean, we got to go there. Is are we serious? Like, do we have to go there? Like, I guess if you say you gonna be with me, right? You gonna walk with me while I'm in here, right? You ever have that moment where you remember where you were a little child and you was scared for somebody to close the door, or you go in the basement and you were scared for somebody to turn the lights off and close the door? It was one of those moments for me, and I remember going to this moment where I was at a sleepover, right? And I remember making a pallet on the creakiest part of the floor. I remember that. I remember how I felt. I remember everything. I remember smells. I remember what I had on. I remember everything. It is so crazy how all of that just like, it literally transported me in that time. And I was just like, I don't think I want to do this. I'm not ready for this. And then something said, no, you are at that moment where you're here. Hold on. And I was just like, no. And then I remember in therapy, she said, go in your safe place and you've already lived through it. You've already lived through it. That's the thing. If you don't take away anything else, tonight's topic is make peace with your past. You've already lived through it. So I'm sitting there. I'm just like, okay, okay. I felt like I was having a heart attack. I'm like, okay, why am I having a heart attack? I'm not 8 years old. I'm a grown ass woman. Ain't nothing gonna happen to me. But those feelings overwhelmed me. And I felt afraid. I felt scared. I'm laying there on the floor and I'm just like, I know this is about to happen because it's like, I don't know. Sure enough, I heard the creak of the floor and I told myself in that moment, I said, you are safe. You are okay. It is not your fault and you are loved. And I felt all of that, like, I can't even describe it. It was just like so much. And I just felt like a calmness come over me. And then I cried. Nope, I can't say cried. I'm going to say I wailed. If you've been in church and you know them old mothers and they just like they face be all, I wailed. I told you I wanted to let go of everything. I wailed. And I just thought about how afraid I used to be when I was younger. How I felt like I had to do shit to make sure that I was okay. I was a child. This is why I be talking to parents. I be like, hey, if you are a parent, you have to remember how you were when you were younger. I think sometimes parents forget that. Like, you were younger and older men tried to talk to you, or older women tried to talk to you, or your family members picked on you. You have to remember that, right? So now you have kids and you want them to be in these same environments with these people. That's where you're supposed to protect your child, protect your teenager shit, protect your grown ass child. I said to myself, I was like, you know what? Whew, I don't know how many much more of these things I can take, because that almost wiped me out. And I'm 42, so how much longer, how many more of these? And it was literally like I literally went to every situation from my childhood all the way up to, until now, and I could tell you the emotions that I felt. I could tell you the things that I overcome, but what I will say is this. I was able to look at every situation I've ever been through in my entire life, and I saw strength, I saw courage, I saw the ability to overcome. I saw so many different things. So I knew when I got to this one day, I knew when I got to this one day, I kept saying, one day I'm going to be able to have the courage to speak my emotions and not be afraid and not give a fuck about anything. One day I'm going to be able to score that documentary. One day I'm going to be able to, I just start listing off all these things one day, right? And then I woke up and I was like, happy 2023. It actually happened in 2022, but happy 2023. And it was just like, shit, I've been on a roll. We only 15 days in, but I've been on a roll. I I said I wanted to like be able to share my story, right? Most people don't share their stories, I feel, my personal opinion. Most people don't share their stories because they have the guilt of what happened to them. People was like, I don't know why you would share your story about being molested. I said, because I know a bunch of people who have been molested, right? But they never talk about it. They still have to see the same people. They go to the holidays, they go to the church, they go to the parties, they go to the same events as these people, and never it's never addressed, it's never talked about. But you know what happens? People struggle. People go home, they lock their doors, they take their daily clothes off, put their pajamas on, and they fucking cry. They cry because they have no one to talk to. They cry because they are heartbroken, right? I said to myself in 2023, if I have to talk about every fucking thing I ever been through my life just so I can help one person, I'm going to do that. Look at our fucking world. Look at it. We are only 15 days in, but in the last couple of months, how many people have we fucking lost by them at their own hands? We need to do better as human beings. We always like every time something happens where somebody disposes of themselves, we always, oh, check on your strong friend, check on your weak friend, check on the friend you ain't talked to in 15 days. Why we just can't keep in touch with each other? I, as I was growing up, I've never felt guilty about what happened to me. I just didn't want to be the poster child for it. And then I had a friend. I had a friend, a dear friend. She's a dear friend to me because she asked me a question, and I looked at her and I was like, why the fuck would that? Why the fuck would they choose me? Why the fuck would I be the person that talk about it? And then, as I'm on my journey, I remembered the conversation that I had with this dear friend, and she said, "What if you have to be the voice?" And I said, I'm not gonna be no fucking voice. I'm not gonna talk about that. Like, why would people talk about that? And then I thought to myself, people need to talk about it because we are all, maybe you haven't experienced it, but maybe your little sister, cousin, brother, auntie, uncle have experienced it. And you know that they are fucking struggling. We know that people are fucking struggling after being molested. We know that. That's like a reality. We know that. And we sit by and say, oh, this is no knock to religion, but oh, Jesus is going to help them. But sometimes they just need a hug. Sometimes they just need somebody to listen to them talk without, oh, honey, I went through that same thing. No, just listen to them. That's pretty much what some people need, is just a hug. I remember I remember when I was in my breakup, right? I didn't know what to say. I'm the person that always handles shit for everybody else. I didn't know what to say, but I am surrounded by one of the greatest communities ever. The people that are around me loved on me. And for the first time in all of my entirety of life, I know, I knew that I was loved. I knew that people loved me. I mean, anyways, I knew that people loved me, right? But it wasn't until I experienced a breakup that I allowed myself to be love. I say, I know people loved me. I knew they did. But it wasn't until my sisters, my god sisters, I'm the only but a god sister. So I call them my sisters. So they came, they brought food. We laughed, we joked, I cried, and they wasn't like, girl, suck that shit up, because no, they let me cry. They passed me tissues. They rubbed my back and they said, listen, you got this. They wasn't trying to rush me through it. That's the thing where we be doing to people. Like, we rush them. Everybody been molested. So I've been molested and look at me. I'm doing good. You know that you are struggling. You on your 15th, 16th relationship. You can't keep it together because you don't have that. And I'm not saying, right? I'm not saying that you're on your 15th, 16th relationships because you've been married. Or because you've been molested. What I'm saying is that some part of you is broken. I um I was telling someone, I said, in my opinion, there's three things that happen to people who have been molested. As a person who's been molested, you either become really sexually active, you are not into sexual activities as that, or you dispose of yourself. And I don't know what other word to put there, so I'm gonna say you unalive yourself. That part. Unfortunately, I wasn't with the leaving here. I don't care how fucked up it was. I wasn't with leaving here. I wasn't with. I'll tell you all the other stories about that, anyways. But I knew that I was going to have some issues when it comes to engaging in sexual activities. I knew that because I had I had become so experienced at detaching, like transporting myself to somewhere else. I knew that it was going to take a special person. It's going to take a special person to help me understand what it means to be in that situation, right? In the intimate places of it, right? I found that person. And when I found that person, I was like, okay, cool, we rocking. And then, life happens, we broke up. So I'm talking to my family, I'm telling my people, I don't know. I thought I knew. I thought I knew everything. Not really, but I know a little about a lot. So I was just like, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know. That's all I kept saying. So I don't know. And they was like, no, you know. You just got to give yourself time. And I just kept saying, I don't know. And then I just stopped speaking. And I stopped speaking because it was just like, I didn't know. And then I was transported back to a time where I made the decision that I'm never going to live my life like this. I'm never going to live my life where I'm going to be a victim. I'm going to be like, woe is me. I'm never going to live my life like that. I don't want to live my life like that because I am stronger. I am I am better than the circumstances that happened to me. I'm better than that. I just keep telling myself that every fucking day, that I'm better than that. I'm better than what the people tried to make me out to be. I am better than that. And I literally tell myself that every fucking day. I am better than that. Excuse me. When I'm talking to my people and I just sit there, and before, like, it was uncomfortable when people, like, you have, if you've been taken advantage of, that's what I'll say. When you've been taken advantage of when you're younger, you be suspicious of everybody. You it's not like that's just you how you want to be in life, but you are suspicious of everybody because you don't know. You don't want to find yourself in that predicament again. It's like, I don't want this to happen, so let me put this. I began to understand what it means to trust, to love, to most importantly forgive yourself. For so many years, decades even, I felt like the shit that happened to me was my fault. What if I didn't have bobos in my hair? What if my mother didn't give me too many parts? Or what if she didn't put lace socks on me? And then it was like, well, what if I didn't? What if I wore baggier clothes and people wouldn't know that I had a shape and they would be trying to. I came up with all of these different things as to why shit happened to me. And then I went to therapy and she said it wasn't your fault. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like it took me like it was just like, oh no, it's not my fault. Like, no, I couldn't even understand that concept because it was like, no. People used to ask me, like, people real life would ask me, why would they choose you? And I'm just sitting here looking like, what the fuck? Who the fuck was like, hey, look at me and my little bobos, come over here? Nobody. But even as I began to understand the person that was doing the things to me, I began to understand their life. And it's not to say, well, I was like, oh my God, they did this to me because they had a fucked up life. But the reality of it is this is why I'm talking about the fact that I was taken advantage of uh, as a child, right? Because maybe you are a teenager and you're watching this, and maybe someone close to you. Because what we don't talk about, this is why another reason why I want to talk about, because what we don't talk about is it's not always the people that's out there that we don't even know. It's not them that's doing the fucked up shit to us. It's people we know. It's pastors, it's aunties, uncles, grandmas, grandpas, it's cousins, it's brothers and fucking sisters that's doing it to us. And then it's like, we can't say anything because then you're going to tear up the family, or we can't say anything because now you're going to look like the outcast. But here's what I'm going to tell you, right? It is 20 fucking 23. You have survived. You are currently surviving a global fucking pandemic which wiped out millions of fucking people. You've survived 3 years into a global fucking pandemic. You have survived your entire fucking life. It is time to make peace with the things of your past. It is time to make peace with that. You want to be successful. You want to have a business, but every time you get ready to do the business, you feel with all these thoughts of what people gonna say, who gonna support me, all these fucking things. It's time for you to go inside of yourself and find that little child. Find that little child and hug them and tell them that they are safe, that they are okay. Find that person who got cheated on. Find that person who got heartbroken. Find that person who felt less than. Find them and tell them that you are loved. You are okay. It is not your fault. You are better than what them people try to make you out to be. Tell yourself that. Let go of the guilt because it's not yours to hold on to. I'm starting a new series. It's gonna be a new YouTube shorts, reels. I'm putting it on all the social medias, right? Shit I wish people would say. I feel personally, again, this is my opinion. I feel that if more people talked about the shit that happened in their families, in their household, like how they overcome being molested or taken advantage of as a child, or being taken advantage of as an adult, as if more people talk about their experiences, right? There wouldn't be room for secrecy. There wouldn't be room for people to for decades be ruining people's lives because they don't have control of their own impulses. When I think about there's this one situation that I think about, right? It's twofold. Okay, it's twofold. Um, I am a lesbian. I don't know if you knew that, but I feel like I should say that. I am a lesbian. I'm a card carrying member of the Alphabet Mafia, right? I grew up in a Pentecostal apostolic church. I grew up in a Pentecostal apostolic church. So all you heard was that homosexuality is a sin. That's all you heard. You're going to die and go to hell. It's abomination. You heard all of that, right? And then they tell you to read this Bible, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. They tell you to read this Bible, and I'm reading this Bible, and I'm just like, okay, so you know that one story that they say where God destroyed the whole city because they was gay? Well, I'm not going to go into depth in it right now, but I'll talk about it on another podcast. But I'm reading it, and I was just like, I don't understand how you interpret that from the story, but you want me to believe that God don't love me. And then I started to think about this whole the church or the religious world created this camp, or I don't even know what to call it. It was called Exodus International. So people like me who identified as LGBT, lesbian, gay, whatever you want to, whatever they called themselves back then, parents would send money to these people so that their kids were no longer gay. They would take their kids to shock therapy. They would do all kinds of things so that their child wouldn't identify as being gay, right? Now in my mind, I couldn't understand that, right? Like, this is where I say I'm grateful for the family that I grew up in, because it wasn't no, oh, you gay, now you gotta pray to God go. My mother, she's very religious, so yeah, she felt like a lot of things that happened to her happened because I was gay, but that's because that's what they do. That's the rhetoric that they talk in the church, but that's for a whole nother thing. But I had so much love and appreciation. Like, my brothers feel like they need to protect me, but it's like, you don't have to protect me. I'm okay. I'm not. It's not something that I'm gonna be out here fighting people for. You don't like gay people, okay? You don't gotta talk to me, but I know when you do, you're gonna be one to talk to me forever. But anyways, I'm sitting here watching this Exodus International thing, and there are people like they're going, and they're like, I went to the that's like conventions. I call them convention because I grew up again in Pentecostal Apostolic. I don't know what they call them in the Catholic or Christian church. I don't know what they call them, but they will have mega events, like mega events, and all the gays, former gays, used to be contemplating. Everybody would go there, right? Fast forward a couple of years, the man of that was over the organization came out and said the entire time the organization existed, I was gay. What? You had all these people sending money, sending their kids. People was going broke sending their kids because they wanted them to be delivered. I get it. Parents want the best for their kids. I get it. I would take this moment to say this. If you are a parent and your child identifies as a member of the LGBTQIA plus community, I understand that if you believe in God, Buddha, Allah, whoever you believe in, I understand that your religion teaches you that God doesn't love it. He doesn't like it. I understand that, right? I also understand that the God that you serve is love, regardless of the deity. He's love at the most innermost part of this deity. He is love. He, she, them, they are love, right? If you have allowed an organization or a religion to dictate how you treat your child that you carried on the inside of you for 9, 10, 8, however many months you carried, I want to encourage you to go to family therapy. Because whether you believe it or not, your views on your child's lifestyle is going to affect them for the rest of their life. If you're an adult and you're watching this, right, or you're listening to this, right, I'm going to ask you this question. Was there something you wanted to do when you were a teenager, but you were afraid to do it because you didn't know how your parents or the people around you would respond? Like, say you wanted to play basketball, but your mother was a cheerleader, your grandmother was a cheerleader, and they were like, oh no, that's some dyke, because that's the word they used to use back in the day. It's dykes. I'm not going to say the other word that they used to call the males, but did you have something you wanted to do, but you wouldn't do it because you was afraid of how people would look at you? And then now you older. Like, this is why I'm saying all this, right? I feel like if parents allow for exploration, or allow kids or teenagers to be who they are, when they are an adult, they won't be out here hiding or having a full marriage and sneaking over here with guys, or having a full marriage and sneaking over here with girls, or they would be out here putting pineapples in front of their doors because they would have got all of that out of their system when they were younger. That's just my opinion. I'm here for a nurturing conversation. That's just my opinion. There wouldn't be people who will have to be in a closet. There will be no fucking need for a closet because we will love and accept people for who they are. There's a TEDx talk, right? I remember growing up in church and they would talk about they call them hermaphrodite. Not my words, but that was the word that they were saying, right? And I never thought that it was real, right? So when I got older, I started watching TEDx talks, right? TED Talks, TEDx talks, and there's a lady who was actually born with two, the male and the female anatomy. How? You know, I'm not saying that God is not perfect. I'm just saying, God, how? How does that happen? So in my mind, I start to have all of these different questions, but don't worry because she answers them in a TEDx talk. So I'm sitting here like, okay, so what if her parents would have cut off one of the, God, what if they would have chose the opposite of what she was? And what I understood from what she said, she's like, her parents allow her to make the decision. And I was like, why don't all parents do that? Why don't all parents do that? Because then this is where I figure out parenthood, right? I don't have kids. I know I don't have kids. You don't have kids, so you shouldn't be talking about it. Ha. Anyways, I personally feel like parents have kids so they can tell people, so they can tell them what to do and they can tell them how to live and they can tell them, oh, you're not going to date that person because I want you to date this person and you're not going to believe in that God because we all believe in this God. So for me, it's just like people don't want to let their family down, so they do, we do what they want us to do. And for me, it's like, when do we have the freedom to be ourselves? When I end my videos, I always say, love yourself, know yourself, trust yourself, and just be yourself. Because when do we have that freedom? It's not when we come out. Because guess what? You ever thought about this, right? When you go to a baby shower and they have the gender reveal, now they do elaborate gender reveals, right? What colors? What are the colors that they use? Pink and blue, right? When you make up your child's room, what color do the rainbow? Or you probably don't do the rainbow because you don't want your child to be gay. But like, what color do you use? Do you just use like a cream color or a white, and then like as they get older, you let them figure out what colors they like, or you just tell them like, oh, I think you look cute in yellow, so yellow gonna be your favorite color. And what if they grow up and be like, I hate yellow, like I don't like pink. I don't care what fuchsia. I don't care what color of pink. I just don't like pink. Someone's like, what's your favorite color? My favorite colors are purple, teal, gray, yellow. I'm forgetting one. White. Those are my colors. I don't have a color. I always, I always feel like I've always been a rebel, and I don't want to call myself a rebel. I always feel like I've done the opposite of what society or anybody say do. And it's not because I want to be the opposite, but it's just like I don't feel like I have to do that. I don't have to go to church every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Bible study, Bible class in order to have a relationship with Jesus, because I feel like if you have a relationship with Jesus, he omnipresent, omnipotent, he's everywhere, always, anytime. Why can't I just be at home in my bed and talk to Jesus? Why can't I talk to him when I'm on the toilet? Why can't so many questions I have. But anyways, that's what I'm saying. Like, so I I've got in trouble a couple of times with my nieces and nephews' parents, and it wasn't nothing. I didn't see it as serious. I'm gonna say I didn't see it as serious, but I understand where they come from. But you're gonna see what I'm saying in a minute. So I give my nieces and nephews the options to ask me questions. If I ask them to do something, I give them the option to ask me why they should do it, because I want them to know that they have that option. Because you think about it, right? You tell your child to obey adults, right? Go with me, right? You tell your child to obey an adult, and an adult tell your child to do something that they probably shouldn't be telling them to do, but because you have instilled into your child that they should be obedient to adults, now they're doing what the adult said do because you told them to be obedient to adults. So I feel like there needs to be some kind of a restructuring to um, how we expect children to listen to adults. So I'm not challenging the whole system. I'm just telling my nieces and nephews they can ask me any kind of questions. So what happened was my niece, she could ask me any kind of questions. So she went home and she started asking her mother questions. And her mother was like, "You need to tell your niece that she can't come home and ask me questions." And I was like, "I understand what you're saying. However, I'm not trying to overstep your parental things. I just want you to understand how important it is for your daughter to be able to ask questions so that in the event somebody say something to her that is as backwards, she asks the question where, and she was like, oh, you know what? That makes sense. And she said, she still can't question. I was like, I got it, but I just wanted to drop that little jewel on you because, like, I just wanted to drop that little jewel on y'all because y'all got kids and, they be going to daycare, school, church, community events, AAU things. They be going to all these different things. And I remember when we were growing up, they was talking to us about everything. They talked to us about everything. My granny, what I wouldn't give to be able to sit in 2023 and talk to my grandmother and just be like, thank you. Thank you for showing me love and asking me questions. And I feel like that's why I'm the greatest auntie in the world because I be asking questions. I be want to know how kids feel and what they think because in my mind, they are little human beings. We look at them, oh, that kids, they don't know nothing. But they do know. They do know. They know what it means for you and their father or you and their mother to be yelling at each other or talking loud to each other. They know it. They know everything. We be acting like kids don't know, but they know. In case nobody have told you that, they know. If you like, oh, I'm just gonna stay with him for the kids because I want to make sure. Listen, them kids ain't thinking nothing about that person. If you are in an unsafe place, I want to tell you to get out. I want to tell you to get out. I want to tell you if your father wasn't there, if your mother wasn't there, if you get out. 2023 is a new year. All the mistakes you made in your past, accept them, acknowledge them, and do the opposite of them. I talk all the time about, sorry, y'all, ain't nothing coming down. It's just in there. But anyways, I talk all the time about people sharing their stories because I used to, when I was growing up, I used to hear people who had kids at a young age. They would tell about the hardships. Like they would do, it was like community rounds or something like that, and they would talk about the hardships of having a child at a young age. They would talk about what it was like to get married at a young age. I wish more people talked about shit. I wish more people talked about it. I wish more people talked about setting boundaries with your family because we don't talk about that. We just allow our family to do shit because they're family. That's my grandmother. That's my uncle. That's my auntie. So I still got to go to the family dinner, even though I know that my auntie used my name to get a AT&T bill, and she ran it up to like $3,000 and still ain't paid it. And I just had to pay it in order for me to get my credit so I could buy me a house. We don't talk about shit like that, but we should be talking about shit like that, or we should talk about parents who put parents who put bills in their kids' name and ruin their credit before they even have a chance to use it. We should talk about shit like that, right? I feel like we should talk about that. And then when the kids get older, they're like, oh, my parents didn't teach me about credit. My parents didn't teach me about saving. I like to say that people can't teach you something that they don't know. I can't teach you about credit if I don't know credit. I can't tell you what it's like to stop drinking if I've never had a drink. Of course, in theory, I could say you should stop drinking, but if I've never had a drink, I can't tell you what it's like to drink. It's like a person who never had sex trying to tell you what it's like to have sex. Come on. You don't even. You don't know. You don't know. That's why I was like, I feel like if parents be honest with their kids, parents be like, you need to get up and go to school and get a job and do all of this. When I saw that Ryan's tour review was 8, right? And he was making millions of dollars, I was like, oh, if I had a child, I would be doing all kinds of shit with my child. Like, I remember when I was growing up, you always used to hear guys like, man, my father ain't shit. He ain't never be there. He ain't do that or whatever, right? And then they turn around and have kids, and then you look at them and be like, damn, I wonder if your kids be like, you ain't shit, cause. But I don't be saying that, but I just be thinking that out loud. I mean, I do be saying it out loud. I don't say it to them, but I be thinking out loud. Like, do we ever take the time to think about it? You ever, like, if you're a parent right now, right? You always be thinking, like, my mother is so fucking mean. I can't stand her. And then you have kids, and do you ever just sit back and think, like, damn, I wonder do my kids be saying that shit about me? I wonder when I tell my kids to go, oh, if you grew up in the 80s, you hated this line right here. We got food at home. Oh, you hated that. And then when you become an adult, you go buy all the food that you want just because you got 15 brand name boxes of cereal. Don't even eat cereal, but bought it because when you were younger, you ain't have it. You got your closet is filled with all of Jordans because you was younger, you ain't have it. You ever notice how when you didn't have shit when you were younger and you're an adult, now you're like, oh, I could do it because I got the money, but you don't understand the connection from not having to having. This is why I'm saying make peace with your past, because if you grew up in a situation where you didn't know love or you thought that abuse was love, you thought that abuse was love, you allow yourself to be in situations where you are physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually abused. That's not the way. That's not the way. Someone who really loves you will love you. They will love you. They wouldn't put all these stipulations on you. They wouldn't do any of that because they will fucking love you for who you fucking are. Parents, if you really fucking love your child, you will love them for who they are. But what I realized, let me tell you what I realized, right? I'm going to go out on a limb and let me just say this. I don't give a fuck because I'm going to say it anyways. I personally feel like religion is the reason why there is such hatred for homosexuality. Excuse me. My personal opinion, but I'm gonna say it and I'm gonna say it again. I feel like religion is the main reason why there is such hatred for homosexuality. One of the main reasons why it is such a big secret taboo thing, when in reality, a lot of people out here, a lot of them married with kids, celebrity, your local drug dealers. There's a lot of people that's out here living a lifestyle, but they are afraid of how people would view them if they were to say that this is who they are. No one should be afraid of living their life, living their truth. No one should be afraid of that. That's why you got people who that's why you have people who are so afraid of being looked down upon because they are afraid of living who they are. Maybe they don't like women. Maybe they do like guys. Maybe they like both of them. But because you talk about it all the time, you ever be around somebody and be like, look at that bum. I don't know. They need to get a job. And then you just look like you go over and talk to them and they be like, you know them? That's what I do. I do it all the time. I love when people have that. I don't love when people do that, but it's like, who the fuck are we to just be like calling people out and be like, oh, you don't got it. So I don't want to be like that. I don't want people to come and hang out with me and then the next minute I'm talking about them. I don't want to do like that. I want to, if somebody be like, hey, I need help with this. I want to, if I don't know it, I'm gonna tell you what I learned about myself. If I don't know it, I'm gonna tell you I don't know it. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go figure that shit out, and I'm gonna come back and be like, hey, so I was researching, cause listen, your girl be researching. I be reading beyond stuff that is right here. I said in the beginning, I wish I was one of those people. I wish I was one of those people that could just be like, you know what, fuck you and the horse you rode in on, because yeah, I wish. I dream. I had so many hopes, dreams, and aspirations. You know, you be practicing in the mirror. I wish a motherfucker would, cause I'm gonna break it down to him like this. Yeah, I wished. And then one day I woke up and I was like, thank you. Thank you for giving me the heart that I have. Thank you for allowing me to find the courage to heal from my past, to accept it and acknowledge the fact that I'm not there anymore. I'm not the scared little girl that was sleeping on the floor by the creaky hardwood floor. I'm not that little girl. I'm a grown ass woman, and I wish a motherfucker would. I got that courage right now. You gonna hop on and I'm gonna tell you where the fuck to get off, and I'm going to leave you standing right where you are. Because that's another thing we don't do. People cross our boundaries. People do shit to us, and we just be like, oh, well, I'm gonna let that slide. No, I want to encourage you in 2023, nip that shit right where it is. Wherever it happened, dead it right there. You don't got to carry around that dead weight. That's dead weight you carrying around. You can't be successful in 2023 because now you holding on to shit. It's like, oh man, no, let that shit go. Let it go. I done I done did so many things. I don't know why the fuck I just smiled it so big like that, but I do know why. Because it's like when you dance shit, you just gotta dance shit. I talked about my entire all 42 years of my life right here on this YouTube channel, right? Somebody's like, girl, you real courageous, because I want to say it not like that because somebody can use it against me. Ain't shit you can use against me because I already put it out there. I'm not afraid of, oh, somebody know. I don't give a fuck about that. Because here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you so and. What you going to say after that? You going to still be like, oh, well, you said on your YouTube. I did. I want you to say that, because then the people will go and watch the exact episode that you're talking about. That's going to boost my ratings. It's going to get more followers. There's more people going to come and find me. That's what we got to get to the point in life where we don't give a fuck about what people think about us. You ever hear somebody talk about a crackhead? We all know. You ever hear somebody talk about a crackhead? You ever see the crackhead? They don't give a fuck about what you saying. They don't care. They don't care. It's only us. It's only us that be caring. I don't fucking. Oh, I'm gonna tell y'all, I get this joy when I say I don't fucking care, because I told you everything there is to know about me. So you can't listen. Here's my philosophy. You can't use something against me that I told you. You can't. I know people be like, well, I told them nothing in secret, but listen, you tell anybody anything, I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna get out. Whether you think, oh, it's gonna get out eventually. It's gonna get out. And then the person, you ever be in a relationship with somebody, you tell them something, y'all pillow talking, and then y'all break up and then go down the line and be like, how the fuck I told you that? When people get pushed against the wall, oh, they'll let some shit go. Not me though. I will definitely be holding on. I've held on to shit where I just be looking like, why the fuck am I holding on to that shit? You out here doing. That's me though. That's my heart. I don't want to see anybody in a bad situation. That's me. I don't give a fuck what. I said somebody could stab me in my right kidney and turn around and need my left kidney, and I will give them my left kidney. I would do that. I said, I kind of felt like, I'm not going to say that my mother cursed me, but I will say that my mother instilled something in me. My grandmother instilled something in me. It's not about what you do to me, it's about what I do to you. And because I understand that, even when I'm even when I'm hanging out with my nieces and nephews, I want them to come here to my house. I want it to be a safe space. I want it to be not like people their parents were like, you let them get away with anything. No, when they come here, we can all sit in one chair, because they all gonna come and sit and hang on me and love on me and kiss me and talk to me and tell me. Bobo is 2 years old. She tell me about shit. I don't half of the shit. I don't even be understanding what she's saying, but she really be talking and using her hands like this. So I be listening, because I want her to know, if you ever have something to talk about, you can come and tell me. And you best to believe if they come and tell me, I'm on it. I realize this also, right? I don't give a fuck if I know the person or not. If I see any kind of bullying or any kind of shit like that, I don't rock with that. I said at the beginning of this podcast, I don't tolerate disrespect. That's disrespectful. If you are somebody that would disrespect an elder, I remember when I was growing up, you didn't say anything disrespectful to anybody that was older than you. You didn't even look like you wanted to say something because they was gonna get you. Who was they? We all know who they was. They was gonna get you. I remember growing up in a neighborhood, you wouldn't think about touching elderly, children, or women. You wouldn't think about it. Do y'all hear? You hear the news? You see the news? You scroll on social media. Who is? We need to bring. We need to bring the community back. We need to bring love back. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing. But we can't bring love back because we don't have love for ourselves. First, we got to teach people how to love themselves. When I started thinking about the journey of healing and self-discovery, people be like, "Oh, I'm taking a self-care day." And when people say they're taking a self-care day, what do? They go to the mall, they go get their nails done, their feet done, they go do all of that, right? Why when you hear, I started another series. I'm starting a bunch of series because I promise. Let me tell y'all. I said for 2023, I'm giving every fucking thing that I have. Because in 2020, 2021, and 2022, I did the bare minimum of shit and I was successful in the bare minimum. So I'm going to stand up in 2023 and I'm going to give it every fucking thing that I have. And I know that I'm going to be successful because I did the bare minimum and I was successful. So we going to see. So I started another series. I actually started it on my Instagram, but I'm going to transport it, to all of the other social media. It's called Moments of Self-Love. And moments of self-love is when, you just sit and meditate or you journal or you look at old pictures and you just allow yourself to cleanse. You cleanse from those old relationships. Put that old shit in the garbage. You remember from your first high school sweetheart, but y'all ain't talked in 15, 13, 28, 7 years. Put that shit in the garbage because guess what's going to always stay with you? Unless you get touched by dementia or Alzheimer's, the memories will always be there. It's just taking up space. Clean that out. I did a mass clean in my house. I got one little spot in my house that I have yet to clean, and that's that front closet. I haven't been in there in years, but I know when I go in there, I'm gonna find some shit. So I'm like, okay, let me prepare myself. You got to prepare yourself. You can't just be like, let me throw it away, because you ever just be like, I'm gonna put this shit in the garbage, and then be like, well, I just hold it because I remember. No. I'm at the point in my life where I have released. I've let it go. I have so much room. I have so much space. My smile. I was telling somebody, you ever like breathe? Take this moment, right? Let's do a breathing exercise. Just go. Did it feel like free? Did it feel like the air flowed free, or did it feel like a little tension right there, right? When you breathed, did you start thinking about the bills? Did you think about dinner? Did you think about, oh man, I got to get these kids. I got to get off this podcast because I got to go make dinner. Did you start thinking about stuff, or did you just go? Did you breathe? Did you just feel the warmth just go through your body? That's where I'm at in 2023. I remember a time I used to breathe and it just felt like tension. It just felt like my heart would just grip and it was just like, what the fuck was that? Now it's like, no, there's nothing. Anything that come up, like I had to be right back. I had to be right back. I have a whole screen for be right back because I need to take a moment. Anytime, anything, I'm cool all the time. But anytime I feel like myself get a little, I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to put my feet solid. I'm going to take my shoes off and put my feet on the floor. And I am going to breathe. I told someone they were so angry. They were so angry. And I looked at them. I said, hey, could you just come here? Let me talk to you for a moment. I said, just do this with me, right? I said, just breathe. I said, just breathe. And they inhaled and they exhaled. I said, just breathe one more time. Inhale and exhale. And at the end of that last exhale, you could tell it was something different about them. If we took the time to tell people to just fucking breathe, right? There are so many people right now on this 15th day of January, who are unsure of what 2023 will hold for them because they were unsure of what 2020, 2021, and 2022. They don't even know how the fuck they made it from 2020 to 2023. But if you are listening or you are watching, I want to tell you this. I don't know how old you are. I don't know where you are in your life, but I can tell you this. You have overcome some insurmountable odds to get to this moment. Now is your time to determine where your life is going to go. And I know we don't like to tell people that we are in charge of where our life is going to go, because they like to toss it up to the deity and they go determine where our life is going to go. But we already know. I I knew since I was younger what I was destined to do. I knew that. I fought it for so many years because that's just not what I wanted to do. But when I accepted the fact that that's who I am someone who loves, I am someone who cares beyond comprehension, I am someone who wants to make sure that people understand. I want to make sure that you're good. I want to make sure that you know that you can have better. You deserve better. I want to show you how to be better. That's the whole moral of me creating all these different things. That's the whole moral of me creating workouts. Is because I was watching fucking workouts. And I was like, wait a minute. Why all these people look like, no, I'm going to work out. Nah, I'm plus size, a BBW. I'm everything. And I'm going to work out. Y'all saw me struggle. You saw me struggle. But guess what? I got 219 workouts on this channel. I'll be back there again. But I want you to see it, because I want you to know, like, oh, you gonna see, like, oh yeah, I remember when she, and now look at her. We should see that. You see, kids always want to grow up and be like LeBron or Kobe or Jordan, but what about you? How many times you say you want to be like your parents? I don't want to be like my mother. I don't want to be like my father. Like, who have you modeled your life after? Think about this. If you're a parent, who are your kids gonna model their life after? You think about if your kids hear you and your boyfriend, husband, baby daddy, girlfriend, wife, whoever it is, if they hear y'all arguing all the time, what do you think your kids are going to grow up and think about arguing or communication? Or how do you think that they are going to respond when it's time for them to have a conversation? I used to think like everybody knew what it meant to have a conversation. Sorry, y'all. I feel like my nose is getting really, it seemed like it's getting really stuffed up. But how do you expect, so parents, um, how do you expect your child to grow up and be a productive member of society if you haven't even showed them what that means at home? And I say that because I feel like the first place that you learn love and friendship and trust and discipline and all of those things is at home. You learn it and then you go to school and you don't disrespect the teachers because, oh, that's so. My mom got me some lemon zinker tea. And then I have these. I should probably suck on one of these right now. But it usually do that around this time. It's bedtime, so it's usually when it does it. But I forgot what I was saying. But I feel like parents, you are the first line of defense when it comes to love, safety, and protection. And if the child don't feel um, loved at home, they don't feel protected at home, they sure in hell don't feel safe at home, that's going to open a door for people, situations um, to happen, and it might not turn out the way yours did. It might not turn out where they are okay. Maybe they'll turn to drugs. Maybe they'll turn to the streets. And if you know anything like I know, these streets and these drugs is not where it's at. That's why every time I get a minute, I'm texting people, messaging. I'm on everything. I like to do more video face to let people know, like, hey, how you doing? Where you at? What's going on? Pull up on me. Let's go get some food. Let's just talk. Let's grab coffee. Cause I be wanting to know, especially if I say I love you, and then it'd be like, now I'm all over social media with a rest in peace photo, and I'm like, man, I ain't talked to you in a while, but I ain't seen you in 6 months, but and I ain't know I asked that no doc, but that's the reality of it. Like we know people be struggling. We know they be struggling. I'm not saying that it's your responsibility, but if you know somebody is struggling, I always say this, right? I put myself in other people's shoes, or I put like when I go to the gas station, I see the people standing out there. Sometimes I don't be having money, but what I start to do is I have one of those deep armrests in my truck, so I'll go get waters and chips, and fruit snacks, and fruit roll-ups, all the healthy stuff, of course, not just because I want to get up like junk food, but I will have all the healthy stuff, and I just give it to them. Or if I go to I'm going to the burgers. I don't do it anymore. But if I'm going to the burger spot or whatever, or the Taco Bell, you want some tacos or something? I can get you some. Yeah, sure. Going to the gas station. I don't got no money I can give you, but you want to come here and get something? Then people be happy. Now, there's some people that just be like rude, but you never know. It's like I never understood why people go out and take their camera when they feed the homeless or they give to the people on the streets. Because it's like, in my mind, I'm thinking like, that's something you should do like that. That's something you should do like, there's something you should do out the kindness of your heart. But like to put a camera all up in people's face and be like, I fit, gave, gave them some shoes, and I wasn't gonna say that's no knock, but that is a knock because you don't know what those people like. You don't know their situations. You're not trying to learn their situation. You're trying to look good for the camera. I don't get. Mm, yeah. You gotta make peace with your past. I had my last vocal therapy session last week, and it was bittersweet. Um, only cause I just before I said I was gonna talk about this, I was convincing myself that I wasn't gonna get emotional when I said that. You ever have a moment where you like, I'm not gonna cry while I'm saying this, and then your eyes start to get a little watery. So um, it was bittersweet because I found my voice. I found I processed the fact of why I turned it off in the first place. I processed that. I accepted it. I acknowledged it. I processed it. And from there, I made the decision to turn that bitch up. I'm turning it up. I have this podcast. I have YouTube. I have Twitch. I have other social medias where I'm just going to talk. The people in my community said, you just going to talk shit on all the platforms. And I was like, basically, I mean, people be talking shit all the time, but I'm gonna talk some real life. I'm gonna spit some real life truths. I'm gonna say some hard shit that people will be like, I don't know why the fuck you say that, but at the same time, thank you for saying it. That's how it's gonna be. I would have never said no shit like that, but I'm glad you said. You being in classroom and you have a question and you wish somebody in the classroom would ask the question and you be like, you know what, fuck it, let me ask the question. And then everybody in the classroom after the class is over like, damn, thank you for asking that because I ain't want to look like I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I feel like I made it to 42 and I experienced so many fucking things in my life that I wish other people would have said to me. I wish somebody would have said to me, it's not your fault. I wish somebody would have told me that. I wish it wouldn't have had to be when I went to therapy. They was like, it's not your fault. I wish people would have, instead of asking me why did it happen to me, I wish somebody would have been like, hey, we know what the fuck you did, and either you go turn yourself in or we go handle it. Plain and simple. I wish somebody would have stood up for me instead of like trying to protect their identity or protect. Oh, that was something I was going to say too. Or where parents have this thing where they don't want to talk about, um, they don't want to talk about their kids being gay or how other people will look at them if they have a gay child. Shit, they gonna look at you like you are an amazing person. That's what they gonna look at you as. Shit, have you seen? Listen, they're gonna look at you as you are an amazing person. That that right there shows you that our parents, the older generations, need some to resolve some shit with they past too. Cause ain't no way hell I'm gonna birth a child and I'm gonna be worried about how somebody look at me. Cause I no, my child. We gonna go to pride events. We gonna do all. I said to somebody, I was like, think about parents who be like, no, don't do drugs, but you doing drugs and you telling them don't do drugs. And I'm not saying it's that whole do as I say and not as I do, but in reality, they gonna do exactly what the fuck you do. We all know that. I ain't gonna be like my mama, then you do the same shit. I ain't gonna be like my daddy and do the same shit. We said it. I I said we talk about oh we gonna this is 2023. I'm gonna do something different. You ain't did shit different yet. You made the same New Year's resolution, got the same vision boards, ain't changed shit. You been saying for 5 years you're gonna do a YouTube page and you wait for the right lights, you waiting for the right camera, you waiting for all this shit. I said I wanted to start a podcast and I wasn't like, oh, I don't know anything about fucking podcasts. So I started a fucking podcast. That's me though. If I get something on the inside of me that I say I'm gonna do that shit. I might fall, trip, it might fucking fail. It may be successful, but hey, these last couple of things I've been trying has been real successful. So I'm gonna encourage you to jump off the fucking porch and do it. So what? So what? People talk about you. So what? The people in the church be like, they talked about Jesus. So what? They talk about you. So what? I was gonna say, is it paying your bills? But if you on social media and they talking about you, these review channels, of course it's going, because people gonna come to your channel. They gonna want to listen. So what? People talk about you. You worried about oh people? People talk about everybody. I want you to take tonight and the rest of this year. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror. Look at it. Not while you putting on makeup, not while you got on them fancy clothes. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror when you naked, cause that's when the truth. You can't lie. That's the truth. You don't got no clothes hiding. You don't got no makeup. You just you. Look at yourself in the mirror and don't feel bad about the shit that you overcome. Be grateful. Be grateful. Look at the strength, the courage, the knowledge you have at the age that you are right now. Think about all of that and how can you help somebody else? How can you help? I shared the story about me drinking and driving right now. I did not kill anybody. I didn't do anything. It was just, I was like, I would say 5 blocks away from my house, and I do not condone drinking and driving at all. I don't. I don't condone intoxication at any kind. Any kind in driving. I don't condone sleeping and driving. You sleepy, pull the fuck over and get you a 10, 20-minute nap and then drive. But I said that because I would tell the people around me, like, listen, y'all just out here, thinking this is before. I have a whole new set of people around me now. But before it was like, we drinking, partying, turning up, and going out, and people just driving. And I'm just sitting here like, wait a minute, you just was at the bar turning the bottles back, and I'm gonna let you. Nah, it's okay. So one day I was drinking and driving. I was drinking. I was at a party, and I was like, I had a burger. They tell you all get all the greasy stuff, and it's gonna get out your system. So I had stopped drinking a long time before I knew I was about to go home, but I'm going to tell you something about me. I know on the inside of me, I feel like everybody has this meter on them when you know what the fuck you doing is wrong, but you still going to do it because you're like, hey, I'm going to go with it because I'm already here. I said, you know what? I'm not that far away from my house. Let me just go ahead and, just I'm gonna just hop in a car just right up the street. So I hopped in the car and I was like 5 blocks away from my house and I fell asleep at the light. And it seemed like I was asleep for a long time, but it was literally only a second or maybe a couple seconds, but it felt like I was asleep for a long time. I pulled that car over. I was bawling. I was like, listen, I just need to make it home. I would never drink and drive ever again. I would never ever drink and drive. And I said I would tell everybody about drinking and driving if you let me make it home. And ever since I said that, I've been telling everybody, people who smoke weed, people who do whatever they do, I'm not fucking getting in the car with you. I will be the designated driver. And if you don't want me to be the designated driver of your fucking car, Uber or Lyft, or I'm prepared to stay wherever the fuck I'm at because I'm not getting in the car with you. Here's what I realized. In case you ain't never paid attention to this statistic, it's a real life statistic. If you don't believe me, go look at it, right? Everybody who have been driving under the influences never, never, ever, never. I have never seen one where somebody passed away. The driver that was under the influence passed away. Nope, it's always the people in the car with them. And if you ever pay attention to somebody who died in one of those accidents, it's a horrendous. It's a no for me. No, when it's my time, I just want to go to sleep. That's what I want to do. I don't want to do, no, I don't want to go like that. And you be having friends, you be going to the family parties, the family gatherings, and then you see people like, okay, I'm going to go home. I'm not saying it's your responsibility to say something, but I want to say if you actually love that person, you will say something. I'll be saying something all the time. All the time. I know you're not about to be out here just, Shell, I'm just going up the street. Listen, that's all it takes is up the street. I'm saying you might be cool, but what if somebody else like dart out in front of you and you don't got that reaction time? Because we got to think about other people too. Because you got to think about other people. This is why I said we got to start being nice. We got to find that love for ourselves so that we can start loving other people. Because you ever go to a grocery store or a fast food restaurant, or you just ever go to any kind of store and it seems like the person is having a bad day and you ever just be like, well, that's your fucking job. You should. I want to tell you in 2023, I want to tell you in 2023, you should be really kind to people. And here's why you should be kind to people. Because I don't know if y'all been noticing or not, but it's been grocery stores, church, Walmart, it's been schools, it's been all kinds of these places where incidents are happening because people are doing things. We want to be mindful. If you are a parent, I want to encourage you to love the fuck out of your child. Love your child, your teenager, your adult child. Love them. And if you make a mistake, if you are a parent, if you are an adult, hell, if you make a mistake, accept it, acknowledge it, and right your wrongs. Don't just be like, oh, it'll smooth over. No, right your wrongs. If you are a parent and you accuse your child of doing something, go tell them, I'm sorry. It's okay as a parent for you to tell your child, I'm sorry. That's not going to take nothing away from you. That's actually going to boost you higher up on a I could trust you meter. Kids be out here doing all kinds of shit because they don't trust their parents. And they're going to run to the gangs. They're going to run to the people that's going to actually make it seem like they care about them. Think about how many people that run to social media with shit because people seem like they care about it. People really seem like they be caring. I'm real life concerned right now. I don't know if y'all concerned, but I'm real life concerned about Britney Spears. I mean real life because I'm concerned about Kanye. I'm not even concerned about just the celebrities. I'm concerned about people in my local neighborhood. People like I know. I'm definitely concerned about artists that I be seeing. I be concerned. And sometimes I be wishing that I wasn't concerned because then that starts to be like, okay, let me reach out. And then you reach out and they respond. And then the way that they respond is not the typical response. Like it's something underneath there. And then you ask them, so this is what I started doing, right? You ever ask somebody how they doing? They be like, oh, I'm doing fine. So somebody told me, Oh, I'm doing. And I was like, doing, I put it, I put two definitions for doing. I was like, doing this, or are you doing in this manner? And they was like, oh, the latter. And I was like, oh, that's great. And, I continued the conversation, but I decided to ask people the tough questions. If you don't like me, hey, okay. But guess what you gonna do? You gonna appreciate the fact that I asked you that question. I didn't just leave you like, oh yeah, I told her I was good, but I know I wasn't good because I was hungry. No, let's go get something to eat. Don't worry about it, I got it. Well, you ain't got no gas. Hey, let's go to the gas station. Don't worry about it, I got it. This is the time not to open your mouth because it's so. I was telling somebody so every time I'm in my videos, right, I'd be like, make sure you get some toiletries, non-perishable food items, water, disinfectant. Send a little cash money, and I be telling people, right, and people be looking like, why are you telling people that? Because listen, I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but these last couple of years, all kinds of shit has been happening. Congress, the White House, Balago, all kinds of shit has been happening. Russia, Ukraine, all kinds of shit has been happening. That anytime they could hit that button and be like, hey, everybody, we gonna shut down until we figure some shit out. And when they do that, if they were to do that again, are you ready? Are you prepared? Do you have a deep freezer with food in it? Do you have dry goods in your cabinet? Y'all remember? Do you remember 2020 when it was like, oh, everybody was trying to, you could go and buy a case of water and it was like $2.49, $3. You went to the store to get a pack of water. Now, how much is it? I got you could go buy a carton of eggs for like $1.79, $2. How much is eggs now? That's what I'm saying. Make sure you get some shit stacked up in your house. Like, you good. So in the event that anything happened on the outside, they shut the whole fucking government down again, you will be good. You and your house will be good. You and your community will be good. That's why I was like, I'm telling people like, hey, we got to stake. When people came over, they was like, damn shit. I was like, oh, from 2020? Yeah. I checked the dates on shit to make sure that it's good, but I'm still gonna have shit. I got batteries, I got candles, lighters, matches, I got everything. Any event that's something, because we wasn't planning for shit to go down in 2020, but guess what? It happened. Y'all remember when people was in the stores fighting over water and tissue? Disinfectant? Yeah, I don't want that. No, so if right now I could just grab a couple of extra, put it in a. That's what I'm gonna do. You should do that too, especially if you're a parent and you got kids. No, you should do that too. I want you. I hope I've said something that inspires you to make peace with your past. If you've been walking around with your head held down because you went through some fucked up shit, maybe you sold a little, maybe you tossed, threw your legs in the air a couple of times, maybe you swung around a pole, maybe you did something that you're just not proud of. You'll survive that. You survived that situation that you weren't proud of. And if you are comfortable sharing it with somebody, that takes away all of that about it. You sharing your story takes away that, oh, what if people find out? They gonna find out anyways. Wouldn't you rather be the person to tell them? I'd rather to be the person to tell you. So if it come up somewhere else and somebody say something, it don't matter to me. I told you. I told you so that you can know one. And I told you so that you can know that you can get out of that situation too. You are experiencing heartbreak. You thought the person you was gonna spend the rest of your life with, they don't love you no more. They breaking up with you. This is the perfect time for you to find yourself. Self care, not just getting the makeup and getting your feet and toes or buying yourself a bag or something. Like actually doing the work, going to therapy. Go to therapy. Shell, you be saying therapy all the time. I do want to say therapy because somebody should say therapy. We be saying parties, clubs, drinks, drugs, alcohol, sex, concerts. We be saying all this other shit. Somebody should say therapy, meditation, healing, journaling, um, smudging. Like we should talk about positive things. Positive. That's why I wanted to do for my channel. Talk about positive shit, workouts, juicing. You don't have to go and eat a big meal all the time. That's why I'm gonna do some healthy challenges. So I'm thinking next week I want to do like international. Just do international dishes. And I want to go to actual international restaurants, and I want people to send me in like um, recipes or stuff so I can like try them out because I want to do something different. I just told my niece, I said, I want to take first class and business class trips and do reviews on them on YouTube. Do y'all see? So this is what I be doing. I be sitting, I be watching. I watch the best damn food review. I watch Mark Wade's. I watch all these different people that travel all across this fucking world eating food. Then came across this guy. It's called Trek Trendy or something, right? This dude goes on first. He done flew from um Dubai all the way to New Zealand. Like he fly first class and rates the people first class, and he shows the planes. And I'm sitting like, shit, I could do that. I want to do restaurant reviews. I want to do all of that. And guess what? I'm going to do that in 2023. So y'all gonna see. If you haven't checked it out already, I did the Tabitha Brown reviews, and that's because I want to try vegan. I want to be a vegan. I don't know if I can be a vegan for the rest of my life, but I want to try it because my ultimate goal is to completely alkaline my body. That's my ultimate goal. I already stopped eating like processed foods, no dairy, no none of that stuff. I don't want to put that in my body. I want to feed it healthy things. That's just like when I think about like social media. I used to be heavy on social media. Now I upload my YouTube, and the YouTube channels I do watch, I leave a comment. I don't stay around all that other foolishness, and I'm watching food reviews or ASMRs, or I'm playing a game, doing something, getting my business ventures together. I'm doing something. I'm not just spending all my time on social media because it's so depressing. Every time you scroll, it's either somebody that unalive somebody or a child or it's an adult. It's a lot. It's overwhelming. And for me, I made peace with that part of my life. Now I'm light, love, and positivity. If it don't bring me those things and don't put me in that space and don't allow me to be free or allow me to express myself in the manner that I want to express myself, it's a no for me. It can't be in my facilitated area. That's all I got, y'all. Thank y'all for coming to Nurture Conversations podcast. Tonight's topic was make peace with your past, whatever it may be. Maybe you spend a lot of time in jail and you just like, man, who will go hire me? Create your own. If you build it, they will come. Maybe you was in jail and you was like, you know what? I think more people need to figure out how to communicate with the people on the outside and with the people inside. Or maybe you could fight for the people that's in there and the food that they get. Or maybe you could figure out something of how you can help. Maybe that could be your job. Maybe you could be a truck driver. I told somebody I went to school for city, or I took my CDLs, the written part, and then they put out this big old gray. It's a Wisconsin coach, but to give you an idea what the bus looked like, it looked like a Greyhound, and they put that around, and they whipped it into the spot, and it was like, here you go, and I was like, here, who go what? And it was like, okay, we about to do the driving portion of your test, and I said, I'm not driving that. You want me to get in this bus and people gonna get on the bus? They was like, yeah. I was like, oh no, I'm good. Well, you know you need to do this to pass y'all. I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna do that. I wouldn't drive a school bus. I don't know. I'm just not with that. I wasn't with it. And then I see all these truckers. I love. I don't know if y'all be watching it, but I love the girl truckers. I like the guys truckers too, but I love the girl truckers because they be showing the real of what it's like to be a trucker out there. If you haven't watched them, I be watching all kinds of stuff. I watch Soft White Underbelly, right? I am so grateful for this channel. It's so heartbreaking to see uh people and how they end up in situations, but like I said, make peace with your past because a lot of them have endured so much shit, but nobody has even taken the time to let them know it's not their fault. No one is even taking the time to listen to them. No one is even taking the time to be like, give them the benefit of the doubt because they just another crackhead or they just another drug addict or they just, That's what his people look at them as. But he gives them their humanity back. So I will say that channel all the time. Soft White Underbelly. It's a good channel. There's a lot of channels like that, but I love Soft White Underbelly. But that's all I got. Thank y'all for coming to my TEDx talk. No, I am gonna have a TEDx. I am going to do a TEDx in 2023. I am. I'm manifesting that. I will do a TEDx in 2023. That's what happens when you find your voice. You turn that bitch all the way up. Turn it all the way up. That's all I got. Remember that it is important for you to use your words. That is the only way that anyone will ever know what you are feeling and what you are thinking. I will never let a live video, vlog, short, workout, podcast episode, anything that I present to you go out without me telling you to love. Love yourself. That includes your faults, fears, and failures. Know yourself. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. The thing that you want to do, you are the only person holding yourself back. You are the only person holding yourself back. I know you probably like, if I had the money, I would do it. No, you are the only person holding yourself back. No man, no woman, no child, boy, girl can stop you from being great. Only you can. Trust yourself. And for the love of humanity, come on. For the love of humanity, just be yourself. Why? Because you need you. I need you. This great big old world needs you to be authentically you. And anyone that cannot love, respect, appreciate you for being authentically you do not deserve to be in your space. Set boundaries and stand 10 toes down on them in 2023. You don't have to go to the family barbecue. You don't have to buy your Mother's Day gift if you don't feel like it. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You don't. Make sure you get your toiletries, non-perishable food items, water, disinfectant, set some cash money to the side. And if you are engaging in adult activities, make sure you wrap that shit up because STDs are still rising. Make sure you wash your hands, get you some sanitizer, and if you feel like it, wear your mask because influenza and still it's still out here. That's all I got. Stay tuned. I have 3 videos. I got today's positive affirmation yesterday, and I got movies. Um, 5 movies you should check out today, tomorrow, anytime you get some free time. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Um, all of my contact information is in the description box. If you want to talk, hit me up. Well, let's talk. Um, I appreciate y'all. Hope that y'all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Oh, also, nighttime meditations is coming too. I think I forgot it last night. I went to sleep, but nighttime meditation is coming. Thank you, Trish. Thank you, lovely. I see you guys on the flip side. Until next time, I love you. Peace.